Trying something a little new here while we're waiting for the season to start. I'm getting together with my very good friend Harry. I've known Harry for a very long time. He's friend with Siler as well, who's a longtime friend of mine as well. You guys might know him, another WoW influencer. They've known each other since the Burning Crusade. I've known Harry since like probably Cataclysm or earlier. He's got some crazy, wild opinions about games and World of Warcraft in general. You might know him from when I did a coaching series with him on a Blood Death Night. That's also on the channel. You can take a look at that. He is all in the War Within. He's loving it almost as much as I am, it sounds like. So he wanted to get together and just kind of rant on the stuff that's been going on in the game and how he feels about it, tell his story about it. So you'll get to hear about how he has switched mains, how he has switched roles, and what's gone into that. Hopefully it'll be an interesting thing, kind of like a little podcast thing. He really likes the idea of podcasting. I'm still taking a little bit of time to warm up to it. So if you guys do end up liking this style of content, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Siler said he would hop on one of these. I'm sure once Cop gets better, he would love to do it too. Let me know what you guys think about it. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoy this awesome conversation with a great friend who's just absolutely naturally hilarious. Let's take a look. The game's been out for almost 2 weeks now, and I'm joined by my good friend Harry. He's a longtime WoW player. Introduce yourself, Harry. Tell him about your experience in World of Warcraft and how long you've been playing it.
I couldn't calculate the years, but it's TBC, innit? I started in TBC. Love the game, yo. I've made so many friends. I've gone even to America. I've raided, be it once or twice,
A couple
but
times. You've been there a couple times. Yeah, there's a couple famous moments over the years. The first raid you ever attended was in Cataclysm, and one of my officers was like super into mounts, and you got the rare mount from the last boss in Dragon Soul the first try, and he was like ready to kick you out like over that. And then like years later, now we're in Tomb of Sargeras, and you fall asleep in the middle of the encounter. And that's still a video on his channel. Like you can go and watch that. He falls asleep in the middle of the fight and then runs off the platform.
Yeah, no, because it was so late though. That's why. Like it was 5 a.m. That. Oh,
Yeah, it
that's
was pretty
funny.
late. Yeah. Flash forward, we're in the War Within now. So it's been, yeah, like I said, about 2 weeks since the launch. Tell me about your experience so far and how you've been finding it.
Like even the boys I play with, they've said you've not played an expansion in the beginning more than you've played War Within. We've not really got no Mythic Plus, we've got no Mythic, we've got no Raid, and we're playing this much. So imagine when we get the content that we play. Like,
What would you attribute that to? What is the reason that you think you're playing so much?
I don't know, because I've got more reasons not to play, you know, like obviously the scam or whatever. So I had a sour taste in my mouth. That's why I didn't buy early access.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's get that out in the open. Can you give your details about all that?
Basically, I didn't play too much, yeah. And I seen the Blood Death Knight set, the PvP one with the white and the red, and I wanted it. And I knew I weren't going to get to 1800 because I've never done PvP before, like, and I didn't have the motivation to do it. So I checked trade and I seen someone who was doing it for like a mil gold to get you there, yeah. So I was like, okay, then I just thought that if you couldn't get like scam because Blizzard are in control of it, everything, you know, like they would just like sort it out. But that weren't the case. And yeah, I got scammed basically. I didn't get the boost. And obviously when I was talking to Blizzard, they didn't really see much help it. They said, we're gonna look into it. We're gonna look into it. Then a week, we're gonna look into it. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna just quit. I'm gone, bruv. Like, I spent so much money in the game, and they ain't even got my back. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though like I realized now it's my fault, innit? It's my fault. I should never have like trusted someone in trade. Like I had a month break, and then I missed the Pandaria come out, you know, the remix, and I come back because everyone was playing. I think, you know what? I've had a month break. Let me come back. Let me just play with the boys. Had a bit of fun, and that sparked. I actually got to 1800 on my own from that. So I learned from that. I said, you know, I want this set. I went out. I got, be it like 400 games in shuffle, but I got to 1800 and got the set that I got scammed for. But I logged on 2 months later. I've opened up my chat. Bro, the guy's still online 3 months later in Orgrimmar, still spamming the same stuff.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No, they're not going to be able to police all that, unfortunately. Tell us like what your actual response was to it all.
So yeah, I quit the game for a month. I was done with it, but then I realized like when all your mates are playing, you want to play with your mates, innit? You want to have fun. They're all just having a laugh on mist, leveling up, getting all the things. Oh, I want to play, yeah. So I played. In my protest, the War Within come out, and I thought, you know, I'm not spending as much money as I normally would.
Yep.
I know they don't care. I know they don't care. £30, nothing to them. But for me, it helped me.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I'm tapping your food supply, you know? And the boys were playing at 12 o'clock at night. I'm not 12 no more. I'm not 15 no more. I can't stay up all night playing World of Warcraft. I like to wake up, have my breakfast, get on and level. So that played a part in it. But I half regret not getting early access only because I would have had a few more characters leveled up. I might have done a bit more on professions, like things like that. But one thing, early access did get access to the auction house for 3 days, like absolutely bug free. Like
Right. It was a mess. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on like the launch conditions? Has it been stable in Europe, or what's your experience?
The auction house has been a joke, but I'm not an auction house person. I don't make my money through auction house. Like Sire's obviously got all professions. Like you can ask Sire to make you a scythe and he make you a scythe, you know, like it hurts. Like I might have opened the auction house once or twice. Like it meant if it, obviously I would love it to be up for everyone else, but it didn't mean
Yeah.
much for me.
Was there any other big issues or launch problems that you guys had over there?
That dungeon, bro, when I couldn't turn into bird form.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tell me about tell me about
Bro,
Dawnbreaker.
that is a bug that needs to be fixed, man. They do like big spell, and you've got to get on your mount and fly, and like everyone got on their mount and fly, and I jumped and turned into bird, but I didn't. I turned into deer, and I just dropped.
It's because they're still in combat, I guess. Yeah,
Do you
it's an
know?
interesting problem because you're meant to fly away, but yeah, I guess a druid can't. They have to mount up. But you never use dragon riding mounts, right? You always just go like bird form or whatever.
Yeah, but I'll just go bird form. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I got battle res, and I done it again. So I done no, because I thought, oh, this time it's got to work.
Right. The first time was definitely not my fault. What are your thoughts on the dungeons so far? How do you like
The
them?
dungeons are so cool. Like I've not done nothing scary just yet because obviously I'm trying to challenge myself now. I know I was doing tank with you, Metro, but now I'm doing healing because I every time I come back to the game, I like to put myself in a role where I like where it's a little bit more. I'm not just DPSing, 'cause get bored. Then I'm gonna just leave the game. You know,
Right.
I need to like healing's more like keeping everyone alive. I've never done this before, and like they're pulling like big big packs, big thing, and I'm struggling to keep everyone alive. And Si's died on every pack, and Si's like, "You got something against me?" Like, you know, I'm just having fun with it, you know,
Oh
at the
yeah.
minute. Like, I'm in control of who lives and who dies, and I really like that.
Yeah, so in case you guys haven't surmised, Harry has, him and I did the coaching series on Blood DK, and now he's maining a Resto Druid. Is that correct?
No, no, no. I gave up on the resto, dude.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't
what?
like turning into the cat to have to do damage and then turning back in. It's just a bit too much for me right now. Right now I'm just focusing on healing. So I'm going Holy Priest, which like I can put like the pain and then a smite, which I can do a little bit of damage, but like I don't have to manage my cat form and my bear.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to play.
I've turned to Holy Priest just while I'm learning healing, and then
Okay.
I might go to druid after, because right now turning into a cat and keeping everyone alive, because that's the struggle right now where they're pulling, they're not pulling like a normal dungeon would. The healing's a little bit more intense.
So have you been gearing the priest? Like, where's your progression at with the character?
Our auction ass,
Just buying what
I've
BOEs?
just the Dark Moon trinket, which ain't even healing, just for the item level.
Okay.
Like, yeah, BOEs for now, because when the Dwelves come out, we're gonna have to go and do them. Right now, I'm focusing on leveling more characters. So I've got a Paladin, Holy Paladin 80. I've got the Druid 80. I've got the Mage is 79. I've got the Priest. I want to get another few. I want to just focus on characters because gear is going to be so easy to get come Dwelves. Then, like, I don't think putting your time into gearing heroics is the right play right now.
So if the season started today, you're confident you're just going right as Holy Priest, or you're still making that decision, do you think?
Probably stay as Holy Priest. I tried Holy Paladin, but I didn't like the fact that you were in
I
melee.
think you'd probably be good at it. Have you ever played healer in the past?
I done the Mage Tower for the appearances,
Oh yeah.
but that's the only healing I've done.
And so in this like gameplay that you're evolving into right now, is never pugging, or you like how's this gonna play out? Do you think if the season started today?
Dwelves come out, yeah. As soon as the Dwelves come out, we're gonna get the gear, yeah. I'm gonna make sure I've got enough. I'm pugging normal. The day it comes out, I'm going into normal. I'm pugging that. I can't wait. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I lose interest after like smashing my head at a pug raid boss for like a day or two. Like I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm done. But them boys, they carry on. They'll do it until it's dead. You know.
So tell me about the lore, man. How have you felt about it? Because to me, this is like the thing that is the biggest X factor in the expansion. I don't ever really care about the story, but like this game has really drawn me in. You watched the final cutscene yesterday on my stream, right? How do you feel about it all?
It's been good. It nearly brought a tear to my eye when Khagdar took the bullet.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, unfortunately we're gonna
Oh,
spoil it,
good.
but like it's a legitimately amazing, like that's one of the best campaign things I've ever seen. They did a great job telling the story, and I think for me my favorite part about it is how many, like, you know, those stay a while and listen options where they kind of elaborate on something that's happening.
Yeah.
They did such a good job with that. The voice acting, how do you feel about the voice acting this expansion?
Oh, the voice acting's been good. The music, oh, the music. This might be my favorite expansion for music, you know.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite like songs that you've heard and what zones and stuff?
In the pub
Hmm.
is like 10-10, the pub music. And like I heard like a little bit of like I was in that theater, like I told you, know the theater weekly. I heard like music there and I was like, oh, like they've done really well with the music.
Yeah, I agree. The music is something that, for like, did you always play the game and appreciate the music, or was there a time when you didn't really care about it?
Oh mate, I'm gonna say up until recently, like recently meaning when Classic relaunched,
Oh, okay.
I used to play in muted. No, like that's how I used to play. I played the whole thing muted, and then when I went back to Classic, I was streaming, and I remember someone said like, "Oh, it might even have been you, Metro. It might have been someone else." Someone was like, "It's very quiet. Like you don't even have the game sounds on." Like
Oh yeah, I think
it's
that was
like,
on hardcore, wasn't it? I think that was me who commented that.
was that hardcore?
Yeah, you were streaming hardcore and it was just dead silent and you weren't talking. I thought there was something wrong with the stream.
Yeah, so then I was like, oh, as a content creator, maybe you need the ambiance of like the behind, you know, the behind backing stuff. And when I put it on, I was like, I was mesmerized.
Yeah, to me, my journey with WoW started. I didn't have a computer that had like speakers. I didn't own speakers, so I always played games without sound on from the beginning. Like Warcraft 3 was the first game I played seriously, and I never had speakers. And I didn't get speakers until I went to college, so like 2007. So TBC is almost over at this point. And I remember putting it on, and it was just like really befuddling me. Like I've always had this issue where I can't like kind of like multitask with my ears is probably the best way to put it. Like if I hear multiple sounds, they kind of just get all jarbled up and conflicting in my head. So when I was raiding, I would always just turn the game sounds off. Voice lines of the bosses were confusing me when other people are talking about stuff. So for years, probably from TBC until MOP, I never played the game significantly with sound on. Then Vicario, you remember Vic, right?
Vic, I remember Vic,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was always raving about the music. I was listening to him over and over again for years talking about this. I'm like, bro, just shut up. I don't like, who cares about the music, right? And I was such a fool at the time. I was like, shut up, you're wasting my time with this conversation. And he's like, well, you gotta turn it on. You've never heard the music in this game? So I'm in the inn in MOP, right? You know that crazy like music, right? In MOP, the
Yeah,
MOP
yeah.
inns. So that's the first music I heard in like probably 7 or 8 years. And wow, I turned music on and I hear that and I'm like, holy shit, he's right, dude. This is great. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So ever since I've been I really appreciate the music in this game. And I would say that, like, you know, MOP Remix was great to return to it, but man, the music has gotten better year after year after year, expansion after expansion. Every zone, every new thing they add to the game, the music just gets better and better and better. And I think I have to say comfortably that, yeah, The War Within is the best. Like, it's the new pinnacle because, you know, As Your Span had my favorite track. Like, I have a top 5 tracks in WoW, and As Your Span is in that top 5. But outside of As Your Span, I would say the music was solid. Like, maybe like 8.3 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, it was good, it was great, but it wasn't like 10 out of 10. And I would say right now, I haven't heard a single thing in The War Within that I don't love. And even like the Spider Zone, Ashkahet or whatever, I don't love that zone's ambience, but the music is so atmospheric. It's like creepy. It really makes you like on edge when you're in that zone, right? How do you feel about it?
Like that's what it's supposed to do. You're in a spider nest, essentially.
Right.
And that's how I would picture like when you're in the spider dungeon and you hear it. So like that's how you want to feel when you're in a spider's nest. You know, they're and then when you're in the bar and you hear the jolly like
Yeah.
yeah, that's how you feel in a bar. Like they're really doing it with the environments, you know?
Yeah, the environments are a true bright spot year after year. What's your like favorite like atmospheric location in World of Warcraft? Like if you were to just spend time, where would you want to spend time? I'll answer first and then you'll have some inspiration
Yeah.
maybe. Any Tauren, like very Tauren themed place. They added a song in Cataclysm that's just like this amazing Tauren aesthetic, and anywhere that plays, I feel totally comfortable. Like I love being there. I recently did a Tauren Heritage Armor playthrough, and like just those locations I feel really, really comfortable in. That's like my favorite place if I was to live. Like if I could live anywhere, I would live there. But
Yeah.
my favorite place to be in World of Warcraft as the person playing it was Ardenweald. Ardenweald has my #1 favorite song in the whole game. The aesthetic of it, it's got this like high grandeur of magic to it. Like everything is super grand there. The tree is ridiculously tall. Like you can't even see the top of it. And then of course, you guys know me. I love the blue Death and Decay, man. I still sometimes just go there just to drop that blue D&D and listen to that music. And then in the War Within, it's easy. Dorne. I mean, there's no question. Hollowfall's probably the best actual zone they made, just content-wise. But Dorne, it's just so comfortable. It's my favorite place to be. So let me hear your story on that.
Do you know what? Dawn is nice. It is nice. The
Mhm.
music, everything about Dawn is nice. But I really like the fact that the crystal changes the color of the whole zone
Yeah, that's
when
pretty
the
crazy
event's
too.
active.
That is
Serious.
cool. If
That
you've
is
seen it
serious.
live, right? Have you seen it happen? Change it?
Bro, I think it might have been Tubby. He's like, oh, there's a rare. Come, let's go and kill this rare. And I'm like, okay. So I'm flying through the zone, yeah, just flying. Bro, the crystal changed, and I was like, oh, live. I didn't even know because I ain't watched nothing. Bro, it happened live in front of me. I was not expecting it, and I was like, wow. That has to be one, like, it has to be my favorite zone because
It's so cool when that happens. Like when
yeah,
you watch it happens, it's like, wow, how is this game 20 years old? Like, how did they do this long? You know, it's so crazy.
yeah, and then all the voids start spawning, and you're like,
Yep.
"Oh my god!" So not only did they change the zone, they changed the mobs in the zone. It's like, wow, the future's bright.
I think it's the best zone they've ever made for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
I think the content is what makes it so good. The atmosphere is definitely extremely good. I just don't necessarily love it. Like, I think the central location of the cityscape that they have there is excellent. The Priory, that dungeon is obviously 10 out of 10, amazing. But I think like those lowland areas with all the Cobus and the spiders on the kind of the west side of it, I mean, that part just doesn't really get me. But when you're in the city and there's no conflict and there's tons of world quests in the city, like I just did a world quest yesterday where you have to like ride this cat all around the city to like get its like playful aggression out, you know what I mean? It's
oh
like
yeah,
really stuff like that. Like they just do such a good job. I would say the Hollowfall city, I don't even know what the name of the city is honestly, but it is probably one of the best cities in the entire game, and it's just a regular like zone hub, right? Like it's not anything
yeah,
else. It's not a
yeah.
capital, it's not a raid, it's not a dungeon. It's just there in the world, and it's one of the best things they've had.
Do you know what though? I think zone wise, I think BFA was crazy for zones.
Yeah.
Like I really like BFA, but the haunted, the haunted one with the witches and that.
Oh, just for.
Yeah, like it's very like cursed and like,
Yeah.
and then like you got the haunted house and that, and that's my favorite dungeon as well.
Right. Yeah, you're a huge Halloween aesthetic fan, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love all that horror, and I love horror films and I like
Yeah, I mean
that
the
sort of
tattoo,
stuff.
right? Show them the tattoo.
What with the
Yeah,
got
that's
that
cool.
dead woman that
Yep.
my mum asked me who it is. I don't know who it is. That's mad. The zones are getting put like the levels of what they're being created is going up dramatically. Like I'm excited to see like the new zones.
Yeah, I wonder what like the subsequent content is going to be like, because I feel like the fact that we are only 2 weeks in and we are already 5 of 5 on the campaign. Do you feel like that's like what does that make you think is going to happen now story wise?
Well, I like it because it means like you could get it done while you were waiting for Mythic Plus to open and things like that. I like the fact that you can do that whole. I can't tell you where I think it's gonna go because I actually don't actually know where it's gonna go. I couldn't even like. There's 3 expansions. There's probably gonna be a lot more story than.
I was
As,
thinking that too. I'm thinking that they're going to try like a new type of cadence of story where the minor patches are going to contain major story as well now. Now I think that they'll probably release new story yeah, every probably whatever it is 8 weeks or whatever the minor patches have been in the past.
yeah.
I think this is a new version of WoW altogether in this way. Like we are now playing a game where the the story and the connection to the story is more important than anything else in the gameplay, and which is totally rare for WoW. Like, you know, historically, and if you look back at like Cataclysm, Mop, and WoD, 50% of the lore of that expansion is told outside the game. Like, you have to buy a book or read a comic to understand exactly what's going on in the game. And now they have totally, from what I can tell, at least fully committed to maybe 95% of the content that you would consume story-wise happening within the actual gameplay in the video game. And this is so cool for somebody like me who is not really that big of a story guy in the past. I feel like I basically got like an upgraded version of the game now. Like, now I have another thing to be interested in, you know? It's so cool.
Quite similar. I've never really been interested in story. Look, Raph's story, I was way like, mate, that was wicked storytelling, that whatever. Yeah, I love that. So with me, I didn't really know much. And when I come into the game, my first thing, I went to Dalaran. They were moving Dalaran. I said, "What? They can move Dalaran?" I didn't even like, what? This is mad. And then we're fighting in Dalaran, and then Khadgar took the bullet. I was leveling with Billy. Yeah, Billy
Hmm.
was like, "What are you doing? What are you watching?" I said, "Bro, I'm watching this." Like, he's like, "I'm waiting for you at the next quest." I'm like, "Bro, I'm watching this." Khadgar took a bullet. I nearly cried. I was down. I was standing there like this because I like him. I like Khadgar. I do like Khadgar, innit?
Well, that recent cinematic was really interesting for you then.
Yeah, but I would have rather of them kept it the way it was.
Oh yeah, you liked it
Because
being
now
dead
I
kind of
just
thing.
feel like I had that emotion, and it's like
Oh
now it's like
yeah.
for nothing.
Yeah, I could see that. That's a common issue with fantasy games and stuff in general, right? Where characters
Yeah.
can just kind of come back. Like in Dragon Ball Z, right? It's like nobody ever stays dead, like
Yeah,
just
like Game of
temporarily
Thrones,
dead.
Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, sure. Even Game of Thrones, right?
Like, I remember the good times we had with Khadgar. Khadgar's been there from Legion. Like, he's been like, and he's been sick. I've really liked him. But now, if he's to die later on, it's like, oh, I've experienced it already. You know,
I see. Yeah,
they
that's it. Yeah,
can't just kill him at the end now, and it have
right.
any impact on us. You know what I'm saying, Metro? How do you feel about that though? Bring him back.
I wouldn't say that deaths are the thing that get me. When,
Yeah,
you know, in House of the Dragon recently, when her son died in the end of season 1, I looked at that more as like that was more interesting for Rhaenyra than it was for the kid dying to me. Like, I didn't feel emotion for that. I felt more
yeah,
interested in how the characters respond to it. And so the same thing with Khadgar. Like, I don't really look at Khadgar as a main character. I still remember him in TBC, you know, in Shatreth giving me that stupid ass quest. I freaking hated that quest, dude. That's one of my least favorite quests ever. So I still am biased towards Khadgar because of that one quest. I've never loved Khadgar. I thought he was too jokey and too not serious in a world where, you know, he's one of the strongest mages in the game. So I'd never understood why he was not taking his own power more serious. So his death and like his kind of pitfalls have always been like, I look at them as like a side plot to something else now. So my emotion when I watched that and I raised my hands in victory yesterday on stream, I was cheering for Anduin. Like, you know, Khadgar dying and coming back, it's like, well, okay, cool. But like, I was so happy that this has elicited a strong emotional response from the characters it's meant to impact, and that's really what calls to me. So Anduin is,
yeah,
without question, he's the most interesting character to me right now. I loved Shadowlands, which is very controversial, I guess, to say that nowadays. I loved Shadowlands' story because of Anduin and the connection that he had with Arthas, and, you know, all the characters evolving around that plot point. I feel like the exact same thing's going on now, and that's partially why Hellafall is my favorite zone, because his story is like, it's entrenched. You know, he's got a connection to those characters even though they're in totally different atmospheres of human beings, you know? So like, this is his zone, this is his storyline, and this confirms to me that, you know, Anduin is going to be the main character of this World Soul trilogy moving forward, because he is
yeah.
clearly being set up in the zone and now in the campaign. Like, he went from priest to paladin to warrior back to priest or whatever, you know? Like, he's going all over the
Yeah, to
gambit of
Death
the
Knight.
yeah, he went to DK. Yes, of course. Yes, yeah. So he's going through it all, man, and it's so cool to see. And plus, I like the way he looks. How do you feel the way like Anduin's evolved physically over the years?
What his new model that we saw
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah, he looks like the sort of geezer that do well with girls in a bar. Like,
Okay, that's
you
the
know,
first thing
like
you go to. Yeah. Oh man.
he looks like he's a woman. Yeah, he looks like a lot of women would do a lot for him. So
Right. So what are your plans? So are you like done tanking for good, or do you think you'll still do
no,
some blood DK or?
it depends on what the group needs, innit? Look, I play it with a group of people, and the roles are very like no one wants to heal, no one wants to tank. I try tanking just to fill a gap. the thing is, the healing role is a role where not a lot of people really go for that role. You know, when I was playing DPS, me, Ryan, Bill, we would like, oh, beat you there, beat you. You know, we're competitive. That's what we do when we're like we're a competitive group. But with the healing thing, there's no one like overshadowing you. You know, like there's
Oh
no one
yeah.
like you're not like as long as you keep everyone alive, you're doing nothing wrong.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I like that about it in Mythic Plus especially.
As long as everyone is alive on every boss, no one is going to say anything to you as a healer. I know you there's added thing where you can do damage as a healer, but like that is part of your role, but fundamentally you've got to keep people alive,
Yeah,
you
at the end
know?
of the
And
day, like almost nobody like ever gets verbally complained at because they're doing something substandard on healer. Like it's interesting because as a tank, like what would you say the same about tank? How would you describe a tank's role?
bro, your front line, bro. Your pulls, your aggro, your like I don't think you're DPS. I don't think you ever get moaned at for doing terrible DPS as a tank. Unless look, if you're going like 30s and 25s and that, then like you're expected to bring every aspect. Your DPS, you're this, you're that, you're like but like 15 things like this as a DPS and you're doing bad DPS as a tank, as long as your roots are good and your like cooldown management is good, like it's good. But if you don't really know your roots and you try to go into a tank role and you don't know what to pull and when to pull it and how to pull it, you're gonna get moaned at,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
I feel
know?
like it's like the tanking has become like such a multifaceted role now at this point that it's so hard to get into for your average player. You know, you could say the same thing about healer, like we talk about it all the time, DPSing, utility. Like there's a lot of times in Mythic Plus where you simply do not need to heal. So you need to do something. You can't just be
Yeah,
AFK for like a minute straight. And then at that point it becomes complicated. When is the right time for DPS globals? When is the right time for healing globals? It becomes complicated in that way. But like I don't think there's many people out there, honestly, besides me, who really put a lot of pressure on that as the healer. Like they look at them as somebody who is there to assist the group, and as long as they have not failed the group, they have done their job. But meanwhile, the tank role is the
yeah,
complete opposite. You could say the same thing about a tank. Like my job is to simply keep threat and not die, right? That's what the game would
yeah.
probably look at as my job. But for some reason in a pug, it is now like incumbent on me to like
You're
not
the
only
spearhead. You're
yeah,
the
like I have
spearhead.
to
Yeah.
guide everybody else. I have to make their lives easier. I have to do things in a way that they want, not just a way that I want. I've never seen one person be like, healer, why didn't you use a CD on me? Or healer, why don't you do something that I want? You know, like nobody ever
Well,
asks the healer to do that.
power infusion they do, mate.
Oh,
You
well,
could pull
that's
some
true.
ag with power infusion, and you know
Yeah.
what? Basically, last expansion when me, Billy, and Ryan were doing pugs, we were trying to do better DPS than each other, and like I was paying the priest to give me power infusion.
Oh, God.
I was giving him like 5 to 10K a boss, yeah. Like, and then I thought, oh my god, wait a minute, like that could be lucrative. Like, if you're a priest in a pug situations, like if I'm willing to pay it, someone's willing to pay it.
No, actually, don't enable these bad behaviors. What are you talking about?
I can only say this like in League of Legends, yeah. Like as a tank, kind of take the role of jungle. Like if
Sure.
something goes wrong, it's all on you. Whereas the
Yeah.
support, the healer, he don't get chatted to ever, and he basically spends half the time AFK. Do you know what
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
kind of.
though?
Yeah.
Like
I see what you mean.
as a tank, I think you sort of take on that role as like the father of the group. If you're a tank and you don't have an idea and you don't know a route and you're going into Mythic Plus, you're wasting everyone's time. Do you
Could
know what
be
I'm
that.
saying,
Yeah,
Metro?
absolutely. Yeah, it could be that. And I think a lot of the, what we talked about is like this social pressure now to do things the way everybody else wants to is going to make it even harder for tanks because, I've dealt with this enormously over the years.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing something, I think it's good. I don't know, like especially it forms early on, so there's not a lot of options out there. The game is giving me feedback that I'm succeeding with it. There's no problems early on. And then for some reason later on, it becomes a problem. And it's not the game telling me it's a problem. Like we're still able to upgrade keys with the routes I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's hard to like compartmentalize what the truth is there and not feel like you're just being, shouted at for no reason. As a tank, I think a lot of people would probably be in that boat where, all of a sudden they're getting moaned at and it's hard to connect to that at that point because you think you're doing well and, the game is telling you you're doing well. And then all of a sudden the players aren't telling you, they're telling you the opposite. Yeah, I don't know. That's always been my biggest issue with pug tanking. And you know, I envy anybody who could play a healer, because at least you know that won't happen. That's the one
Yeah.
truth about tanking that will always be there, and no other role really ever gets that.
But the thing is, though, if people have got a problem with the way you tank, or they've said, no, you should have done this route, it would have shaved off 20 seconds. 20 seconds is nothing, but like it can be something if you're
Yeah,
going for a
yeah,
free kill.
that's what I'm saying. They're not wrong to
Yeah.
criticize or to suggest other options. It's just very difficult for me to know when they are wrong and when they aren't, because if the game is not like, if we run the route and we don't upgrade the key with minimal issues, then it's like, oh well, okay, obviously I need to change something now. Those are obvious. But when it's like, no, bro, I literally just upgraded this with this route and you want me to change it, like I can't help you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to help you at this point, because you're mad about something that is just personal, and I'm trying to do my job. I'm not good enough at my job, bro. I can't do your job too.
Yeah. Just tell them you tank. You should have
Yeah, that's
tanked.
usually what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, you tank then. I'll DPS. I'll have the easier role.
Yeah.
And you stress that about the route and getting like, because yeah, a lot has fallen onto tanks, but I don't know how they fix that, because I don't know how they go about making that different.
Yeah, I don't think it's the game that did that. Like in a coordinated group, everybody collaborates, and those conversations wouldn't be met the same way. Like, if me and you are playing together constantly and you suggest me to change something about what I'm doing, you're going to suggest it in a friendly way, and I'm going to have a rapport with you that I respect your opinion on it. But in a pug setting, if it's suggested, it's usually with some kind of underlying hostility or like some derision in some way, where they're basically saying, I'm better than you need to listen to me. And that's just like instantly turned off. Like I turn that off instantly. Like I'm like, okay, I don't care what you say anymore, so whether they're right or wrong, this is the biggest problem with tanking, and it could be this way for pugging in general, but I do think like the healer role almost never, unless you're like factually failing healing checks. Like we saw that a lot in Waycrest Manor. That first boss of Waycrest Manor had a very unique healing check, and I would constantly run into groups where it's just like, the healer he's not able to heal this. He's just straight up not going to succeed at
He's
this.
not popping his cooldowns,
Right. And then people would get on his case, and that's, a time when you could have the same thing where like, oh, I've done this before, I can do it this way. But it's very rare, I think, because like it has to be a very specific boss, a very specific difficulty of Mythic Plus as well. And I think probably 95% of people out there are just not getting into that position.
The healer can sit, and that is half of another reason why I went for that role, Metro. I'll be honest, because it is more laid back, but it can get intense at times. So like, you're not competing for overall damage at the end of a dungeon.
Right.
You're not a tank role where you need to be focused 24s. Like the minute you walk into that dungeon, you need to, like, you're front runner, so you need focus. With a healer, you can bang a few hots on people, and you can look away for a second. Oh, you can have a conversation, and you can come back.
Yeah, you're going to fit in great with the
health.
healers. You're going to fit in great with the healer community.
Do you know what I'm saying? I could even go and make a tea. I could like, oh, we're on a boss. Let me just put a few watts up. Go make my tea, come back. Yeah.
This is how most people play Resto Druid, so you should have stuck with that class, I think.
Yeah.
So what is your plans? Like, say the season came out today. What's your plans?
Bro, I'm going in green, bro.
No, I know, but like, what content are you focusing on?
Oh, yeah. So I thought I was going to do Mythic Zeros, but Silas told me that like there'd be no point. He was like, we just do Dwelves and we get gear from Dwelves.
Yeah,
so,
Delves seem like they're going to be great if you have the keys. Have you banked a lot of keys?
Oh.
There's, if you look on the map, there'd be like a glowing delve entrance point. That's called a bountiful delve. In that, when you complete it, it has a epic chest at the end. That requires a key to open. Currently, it seems like you can get 4 keys per week. I don't know how that's going to change as the season starts, meaning you can open 4 epic chests. The chests then contain a piece of gear, similar to how Mythic Plus might work. The higher the delve, the better quality the gear. So what you're going to need is, you're going to need to push from, we only have 3 right now. You're going to need to get to at least 8, and once you're at 8, you're going to get the highest gear possible from the delve completions. But in order to get that, you need a key. So what people have been doing is you can get 4 keys a week, so they've been banking their keys, so they're going to have like upwards of 12 when the season actually opens, and then they can blow all 12 of those that first day and get all of that gear from the 8. So like, my thought process is it's probably not going to be like trivially easy to get to 8, but I do think like, yeah, delves are going to be a crucial part of that first week of the season, because one way or the other, they give the best best vault, you get credit based on the highest delve you've completed. So as long as you're doing the higher delves, you're also getting that vault credit. I don't know exactly how many you have to do to get all 3 slots, but basically you can do all the zeros. You can get your slots from that, which is a good piece as well. And then you would do all the delve slots as well. And you would have 6 options at a very strong tier piece that first week. So one way or the other, yeah, everybody's going to need to walk into delves. Even if you don't end up taking gear out of them, you know, just completing them for the weekly vault is now going to be a task that I think a lot of people are going to do for quite a few weeks.
A question, say I haven't got any keys, can I still go back and get the 4 from last week?
That's a question I don't know the answer to. I've not tried to play alts at all yet, so I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Because I've been doing the theater though, so I probably got a key or 2, but
like unless you've not done any world content, you should have a good amount.
No world content.
Oh, really?
I'm not really do dailies and things like that. Like, I'd rather do a random heroic. I'm like a dungeon guy rather than go out and do dailies. Like,
well, unfortunately, now there's also, I don't know that this is true or not, but people are saying that like other people can use their key. This guy just died to mining the node. Wow. People are saying that if like say you and Siler go do a delve together, he uses his key, you get something too. I haven't tested this yet, so maybe somebody could comment on that in the future. But
I think he said to me, "Yo, you don't got to do none. We will get you to 8."
Okay. You've not done them at all. That's weird.
I just broke something.
What happened?
I broke something.
What is it?
I don't know, bro.
Okay.
It sits on your desk, and then like you put your headset on it. But I've had it for ages. I'm talking. I've got it. I've had it for years. I haven't used it once. My headset's not sat on it once.
Oh, okay.
Bro, we didn't even talk about the talents.
Oh yeah, let's hear. Okay, yeah, let's hear your thoughts on that.
Whoa! I'm in a dungeon now, and the warlock next to me will just summon a pit lord.
Yeah, that's cool. What is that? Diabloist, I think. I gotta look into that one. That's so cool. I see that all the time.
He will just come and go and do something and then go. And sometimes I'm just looking at him, like I'm not even paying attention. Like I'm just looking at the demon come out the portal, and it's like, what? Like we haven't had class stuff like that since Legion, you know? As the druid, you spawn like a tree and he heals for you, and you can go AFK for even longer. Like, oh, as the holy, I'm using Halo. Halo's so cool, man.
Oh, really?
Wow. Bro, it shoots out and it comes back. And then it shoots out and it comes back. It's like a pulsating Halo.
Isn't that just wait, is that a hero talent? What hero talent is that?
Is that not a hero talent? Halo's the hero talent, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Avalon or something.
Avalon?
Avalon or that bro, them hero talents. Like I want to make a warlock. Oh, Death Knight as well. I want riders, man.
The Death Knight is the best one, I think. Yeah, it's really
Do you know
good.
what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, they hit, bro. Wow. I ain't looked at the warrior. I think some of them are really underwhelming compared to other ones. Like, how can you get the 4 riders of death as a DK? And then, like, you're playing another class and you've not got nothing. Like,
right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard Rogue is really bad in that way. It doesn't have any real flash to it.
No, but I will be coming to US though. I need to come to US and we need to do some Mythic Pluses for sure, man.
Yeah, you should definitely do it. And I think this would be great. If you do healing, you should start recording your runs, man, especially when Mythic Plus launches. You know, I'm happy to review your footage or something like that while you're playing a healer. And then, you know, I could talk about it from the tank's perspective too, where you could then learn like multiple different avenues of insight into that, you know, that one review.
I was thinking about streaming WoW myself. I just don't know. I'm trying to find myself as a streamer, as a content creator at the minute. You know, it's not
tough.
It's not easy to find your niche in content creating.
You know, the reason I brought it up was because like if you do stream your Mythic Plus dungeons, there would be a lot of viewers of mine who would love to watch you do it. So, you know, that could be beneficial. So,
bro, you know, crazy stuff's gonna happen.
Oh, I know crazy. That's why I'm bringing it up. I know crazy, bro. I know Harry. I know crazy stuff is gonna happen, dude. It's gonna probably happen in heroics, but I'm not gonna push you into streaming heroics.
Come on, then we'll do it, man.
That'd be great. And I'd happily funnel viewers over to you because I think a lot of people would love watching it.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it. It's like at the minute, I'm so pleased with the game that like I could see myself doing content in WoW.
Yeah, you should, man. It's the right time for it. Like I think the dawn is upon us here with this game. Like, you know, with the World Soul Saga and the future being so bright, like a lot of eyes are going to be coming back to this game.
Yeah, and the journey as well. You got to remember, Bro, a month ago, I quit the game.
You didn't play at all. I coached you how to be good at Blood DK. You quit. You then come back, and now you're journeying again on a different role. Like, this is a wild trail. Like, yeah, you really followed some crazy trail here.
No, I'm saying it's like Rocky. Rocky, I feel like Rocky Balboa, mate.
Right, yeah.
Bro, the future's bright for the game.
I
The
agree.
future is bright. It's like Hallowfall before the void.
Yeah, just don't get turned into the void crystal now.
No, man, I appreciate you doing this as well, man. It's been a lot of fun, man.
I love shit like this, so I'm glad that we were able to do it.
And thanks everyone for watching, man. Hopefully I'll see you boys in the stream, man.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I'll keep you guys abreast of the situation. And if you ever want to get together and just rant about stuff again, let me know. Like, yeah, maybe like partway through, we can get together and you can give your updated thoughts on Healer and how you feel like it's gone for you and stuff.
And we'll have a few clips to talk about as well.
Oh, we'll have some clips by that point, 100%.
All right, sweet. Thanks for watching, everyone.
If anybody actually watched the whole thing, please leave a comment and tell me that, because that means a lot to me. You know, it's quite long, obviously, and a little bit rambly, but that's just two good friends getting together. This is kind of how WoW started for me. Very, very pleased with this expansion so far, and I hope that Harry will indeed take it serious and try to start streaming and doing some Mythic Plus on his Twitch channel as well when that comes out. We'll talk about that more. But thank you for watching again. If anybody did watch the whole thing, thank you so much for your support. If you guys like this concept and you want to see more of it, leave a comment. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll be back to regularly scheduled content soon once the season starts. For now, keep enjoying this launch. I can't wait to see how it goes, but thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next one.